Greetings, Redheads. Thank you for joining me in another episode of your favorite show, the one, the only Reds View. Of course, I am your gracious host, Jay Red, and I'm joined by a great guest, special guest with me today, man. I've been listening to these dudes since I was a kid, man, back in Alabama growing up. They made some bangers, some classics, man. This guy goes by the name of Tweet from the legendary R&B trio Next. What is up, my brother?
What's good, my brother? Glad to be here, man. Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure. I've been watching you, seeing you put all this good energy out here in the world, and sharing your truth and your opinion and how you feel about things. And I just like how you get down, and I love to be here with you today to add some more good energy to the world, man. And you can ask anything; everything is open.
Okay, bet, man. Yeah, definitely, man. Like, that's an honor for you to be, following me and what I do because I put all the energy I can out in this world. I'm an artist myself, but most importantly, the thing about artists today is like we have a voice now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like back then, especially when you were coming up, there weren't podcasts. It was only the radio. But now it feels good that artists like yourself because you got your own podcast too. So you got a voice now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Tomorrow I launch my first day of my podcast. It's titled the Best Life Ever Team Podcast. And the reason why it's called the Best Life Ever Team is because I want us to come together with our ideas and swap and share ideas on how we live our best life. And, I have some things that I may do that can help you, and you have things that you do that can help me. And that's what it is. I mean, it's all about iron sharpening iron in this world.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. That's positive energy. I love to hear that, man. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it. So, the group Next, right? You, RL, T-Lo, y'all are like y'all made some bangers, some classics, like I said, man. So for those who've been hiding under a rock, because I watched y'all's Unsung a couple of years ago when it came out. I was glued to the
Uh-huh.
TV because I love Unsung because it always gets people that I've always grown up listening to. So in case people didn't see the Unsung or didn't grow up listening to your music back in the 90s, let us know how Next formed.
So next formed around, I believe it was October 19th, 1994. We got together in over South Minneapolis, Minnesota. We actually met for the first time. I met RL at a spot called Jimmy Lee Oxford Park in St. Paul, Minnesota. And Tilo and I are originally from Gary, Indiana. RL is from north side of Minneapolis. And Tilo knew RL first, and he knew he was a singer. Tilo came to me around the age of, I was 16. He was, I believe, turning 19 at the time. He was like, we should do a singing group. I was like, bro, man, I'm about to go to college and get this bag. I'm about to run track for America in the Olympics. Then I wanted to play in the NFL. So um, those are my aspirations. And he's like, now we need to do the singing group. So he was like, I got somebody I want you to meet. So we went to a show. RL, he was in a separate group, and they did a performance. So we went to the park to see him, to Oxford Park, and we saw him perform. And obviously, he stood out from his group members. I think it was him and three other guys at the time.
Mm.
And one of the guys ended up being in a group with us. But what we did after we met, he got off stage. I met him. We went over to a studio called Fat Jam Studios in South Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we all went into the booth and we had to sing a solo. So it was kind of like we were all auditioning for the group. But I think I sang "Ribbon in the Sky." I did intro from 90s R&B. They did a version of "Ribbon in the Sky," and I did that. And then I can't remember what everybody else did. And then there was a vote at the end to see who would stay in the group because of your vocals. And in the end, it started out. It was four of him. It was him, RL, three other members, and then it was just me and Tilo.
Hmm.
So total that was six guys. Ended up with four guys in the group, and it was cool. Like we were called Straightforward when we first started,
Yeah.
and we traveled all around Minnesota singing in talent shows. And I mean, any talent show that came, we were on it. And that's how we started. We started grassroots and just building that way. But then we got notoriety, and people stopped wanting to be in the talent shows with us because you actually win money in the talent show.
Hmm.
But we kept winning all the money, so people was like, "Man, I'm not about to do a talent show again, and these dudes just take my money." So they started making us do special guests at the talent show and then giving us a little money for that. And then when artists started to come into the city, we would open up for them at the bigger venues. And that's how we started to make our name around. And then Brandy came to town one day. She wasn't even there. It was just her band. They were sound checking for about 2 hours, just trying to
Mm.
get everything right for her. And it was at
The
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 Target
sing
Center.
the singer Brandy.
The singer Brandy, yeah, which
Okay,
is now, yeah, she's like fam now. That's it.
got you. Yeah.
But so at the time, like I didn't know her at the time. We were just in the audience waiting for our chance to sound check. We're a new group, hometown talent, opening up for a big act. But it was our first show at the arena, and it was at the Target Center, where the Minnesota Timberwolves basketball players played. So we were there like, oh man, we're about to do it. Finally, they get to see us on a big stage. No sound check.
Mm.
You're an artist, so if you don't get the sound check sometimes, you gonna be up there with them howling, whistling
Right,
mics, woo, woo, all that. So
right.
RL just kind of like went ballistic. He was like, "Man, we're gonna be the next big thing to blow up. We should be called Next," and that's how we got the name Next.
Oh wow, wow, wow.
he,
So
he was spazzing.
yeah, yeah. So, man, and from my understanding, you all sent out your demos, right? Because you were working with some producers. And
Yeah,
from my understanding, the member from Naughty by Nature, what is it? Is it KB?
KG.
KG. I'm sorry, KG.
Yeah,
So when you were sending, because a lot of people, artists nowadays don't know about that, and everything's the internet. But the process of
right.
sending the demos out to labels and stuff, how did he end up getting a copy of your demo?
So what happened was Tilo actually got a copy of our demos that we had been doing. We were working with Prof T and Lance from the group Low Key. They're a group out of Kansas City, Missouri, back in the day.
Shout out to
Some
Low
hip
Key. Yeah,
man, Prof
I
and
got a
Lance.
thing
Thank you.
for you. That's one of my
Absolutely.
jams.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. So, they have been working with us because they called one of us at one of the talent shows we were doing and pulled us to the side, asked us if we want to go and start recording with them. We did. We started recording at Flight Time Studios, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis' studio, but it was on the low. I
Mm.
mean, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, so Tilo would always write his name on the demo tapes, and I did say tape. I mean, like a cassette tape.
Yeah.
The new artists don't really know about cassette tapes because everything is digital now.
Right.
But so he wrote his name and his number on the tape. We were actually at the Mall of America, Tilo and myself, and we saw KG and Vinny from Naughty by Nature. And shout out to Vin too.
Yeah.
And Tilo goes, "Let's go say what's up to them." I mean, my personality is I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm sending some love through the ether, right? I'm not about to just run up on them. It's all good. He was like, nah, and it was his persistence that put us where we need to be. So I said that to say to any artist or anybody that's ready to do something, you gotta speak up, you gotta take the initiative. I mean, don't be disrespectful or aggressive and make someone uncomfortable, but you gotta be persistent and you gotta be believe in yourself. So we walked over, and because I want it to be chill. Like if they hear us, I want them to hear us organically. He was like, nah, there they go right there. So we ran up on him. He goes, I'm Tilo. This tweet was straightforward. And then KG goes, I heard of y'all. We're like, what? Shocking for somebody that you look up to. You've been listening to their music for ages. For him to
Right.
be like, yeah, I heard of y'all. We're like, damn, how? So it's one of the bros who's a DJ at KMOJ Radio, the radio station that put us out, Northside Minneapolis. Thank you, KMOJ. We're here because of them. Um, he, RIP, Brother Jules, who just passed recently, but he told KG about us. And so KG was aware of us before he even met us. Man, Tilo didn't have a demo tape for the first time in how many months. He didn't have a tape on him. He's like, yo, we're going to come to your show tomorrow at First Ave at Princess Club, and we'll bring you the tape. Mind you, we all get dressed up in our little twin uniforms, go over to the show, Naughty rocking the stage, performing. We realize like they're getting to the end of the show. I mean, KG's a DJ. He on stage. You can't give him a demo tape. He on stage.
Right.
One of their hype man, the homeboy LP, ran through the audience. Tilo grabbed his arm. Yo, he's like, what's up? He's like, man, get us to KG. We saw him yesterday. It's during the show. He tried to tell him the story and shit. He's like, man, now I gotta just. So he takes the tape. Never gave it to KG. God bless him. Thankfully, he put it on the bus and just put it on the table on the tour bus. And KG actually heard it. Called my brothers. on the line, his number on the demo, and Tilo answers the phone. RL is a practical joker, so he thought it was RL playing games, and so he hung up on KG when he first called him. Then he called me. He was like, "Man, RL just called, talking about he KG, talking about he wanted to talk to us about a record deal." I was like, "Oh, where?" I was like, "I'm gonna call him on three-way, but I'm gonna play like I ain't with you." So
Yeah.
I call RL on three. RL was knocked out, bro. Swoop, gone. I was like, "Man, that ain't RL, bro." And then KG called him back. He apologizes, whatever. He expected it because he didn't, he didn't. He knew Tilo didn't expect him to call, so
Yeah.
he was like, "Man, I want to fly y'all out. I want to, I want to work with y'all." And at this point, we had met a few people. We met Aaliyah, rest in peace. She was so sweet, bro, really cool. And but she wasn't in a position to like put us out. But we met MC Light, we met Montel Jordan, met a few different people. But none of these people were like people that we. I think at the time, new artists think that any artist that you meet can put you on,
Right.
and you don't understand that some artists like KG is someone who had a label and a production deal who was actually signing artists and put them out. But artists don't usually put artists out because they're working on their own thing and they don't have that type of vehicle to do that. So artists need to understand that when you meet an artist, it doesn't mean that this artist is going to put you on because they may not be in a position to do so.
Facts.
And it doesn't mean that they don't like your stuff either. So just know that I just put that out there so people don't think when they meet artists that they're automatically gonna get put on. And even if the artists say that they're gonna try, it doesn't mean that they have the capabilities to do so.
Right.
After that, he flew us out. KG flew us out to it was like some months later, maybe like 3, 4 months or something. So we got a little restless and started feeling like, man, this ain't gonna happen. And it was, I think it was like Labor Day weekend. He flew us out, and they had this huge show where all the Bad Boy performed. I think I know Naughty performed, Queen Latifah, Nas, AZ, was Biggie, Lil Kim, Junior Mafia,
Wow.
Mary J.
Legends.
Blige, Faith. I mean, it was epic. Diddy was on stage with him. Um, it was just a whole movement, man. Just anybody that had it popping. Red and Math performed. Like it was just an amazing show. It was like I guess it was their Labor Day weekend show. And Naughty performed. They did two shows. They did one at 7, one at 11. But when we walked in, it was at the Apollo. And when we walked in, we saw our names on KG's fans. He had fans on every seat, and it said, the new Illtown roster, and it had straightforward on it. So we were souped up. We didn't even realize we hadn't even talked business yet or nothing. We were just all hyped up, like our names on the flyer now.
Right.
He was like, "We made it." But yeah, the next day he had this party at his house. It was called Boogie Land, and everybody that was at the show was at his party at his mansion, and it was in Jersey. So we met Mike Tyson that night. We met anybody you could think of. You could literally spin the bottle in the game, and they were there at that party. And so that's how we got introduced to the industry through KG, and Big Bro just been showing us love ever since. And can never thank him enough.
Facts, man. And people, man, Naughty by Nature is one of the most underrated hip hop groups of
Legend.
all time, man, because they came with a lot of bangers. I still play Naughty by Nature to this day, Hip Hop Array and all that. So it's interesting how y'all were signed to him, which he was already putting out stuff, already producing. So it leads y'all to signing your first record deal.
Yes.
And you all were with Clive Davis on Arista, correct?
Yep. Correct.
Okay. So, man, just tell me how that feels to 1 minute, you're making demos and you're making good music and you're trying to get noticed and everything. The next minute, you not only do you meet KG, right? But then
Uh-huh.
you're on a major label and it's the glitz and the glamour, everything. Just walk me through how that felt at the time to finally say, you know what, we officially made it now.
I mean, it's surreal. It's like that thing where something you've been waiting for a long time, and then it finally comes, and you're like, "Damn, am I dreaming?" It was really more like that than anything because you're you can. It seems like the closer you get, it's almost like when you got to go to the bathroom, and the closer you get to the bathroom, the more you got to go. So it was like that with the career. Like we were waiting, and then closer we got, the more anxious we got, and then when you're finally sitting there, we did a uh, showcase at SRR Studios in New York for Clive Davis and Arista Records, like their entire staff. And to we're just like we don't know what's gonna happen. We just know KG is now taking us seriously. We're definitely working with him, so we know we're in the door now. And when we did the showcase, we just performed like it was our last show ever. And we met Clive at the end of it. He goes, "Man, KG and I are going over to the office to talk right now." We got signed in like 45 minutes under that. So um, it just seemed like after it really started moving, it seemed like everything happened so fast. You didn't get a moment to see, to know what was happening because we went straight into recording all the songs. We went from there to we were released in I think it was 1 day under a year from being signed, and that's pretty fast. Usually, when you just come into a label, they already had other artists, and we just kind of got thrust to the front pretty quickly, which is a blessing from God. And we came out with Butta Love. That was our first single.
Oh man, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. As far as R&B songs, man, Butta Love is one of the greatest, sexiest records I've ever heard in my life. And you keep in mind, bro, I was born in 1988. So
Yeah,
this is 1997. I remember hearing that my dad had bought that CD, I think that
yeah,
single, and then y'all were the video, when y'all had the did y'all have Versace on or something like that? Y'all had some type of
man.
fly
Oh
gear on
my
and shit.
God, bro. We had on like they had us dressed to the nines. Like we didn't even know at the time where we had on Prada. We had on like every. I mean, my outfit was probably like 7,000. I didn't even know what I was wearing at the time. I was just like, these shoes are
Yeah.
slippery, and we're on top of the Brooklyn Bridge. That's all I knew. We really went up there.
Oh,
We
really?
climbed to the top of the Brooklyn Bridge where the flag is.
Yeah.
And we actually went up there. We scaled the bridge, and we had some people from the city with us. So it was like someone from the city, artist, someone from the city, artist, someone from the city. So they walked us up. So we had the harnesses on us and everything. So we had to like walk a bit, take a clip off, flip it back, like all the way up to the top of the bridge. It was a
Wow.
really cool experience. But we had like Prada dress shoes on though. You know what I mean? So it was like it felt different than some work boots or
Athletic.
some Tams
Yeah.
or something with a little
Right.
grip. But we went up there with some straight slides, and it was cool though. I mean, KG was laughing. He was like, "Yeah, this is that first album, junk. Y'all excited, but I bet I can't get y'all to do this on the second or third album." And I mean, after you get down from standing at the top of the Brooklyn Bridge, which was a beautiful sight, you could see clear to Jersey. You could see all five boroughs. Like it was amazing. That was back when both Twin Towers was there, and you just saw like the chest of the Twin Towers. It was like massive,
Yeah.
and it was a great experience to say that we've done it. So making a Butta Love video was definitely an experience to remember, and it's something that I'll always hold at the top of my moments in this industry and my career.
Right. And I know you get this question, or all the artists with classics get the question. Did you know Butter Love was gonna be a hit when you were making it?
Um, I mean, I think knowing would be a lie. Wishing, yes, you know. It was a completely different story for Too Close. So yeah, with Butter Love, we felt more confident about it doing well. It was the type of vibes that we were always on, and we wanted to be on some sexy vibes, and Butter Love was right up our alley with just playing like who we felt we were at that time. And when the label told us that Too Close was going to be the second single, we met it with a lot of resistance. We were like, "What? Nah, we didn't want. We,
Yeah.
nah, we just weren't
Yeah.
feeling that at all because we didn't know any better."
Right, because you're going from slow ballad to sexy to too close. But before I move to too close, my favorite line in Butter Love, you don't be tripping when I'm kicking it or with my niggas. I like that's one of my favorite lines, man. And then in the video when y'all kicked, when all three of y'all kicked it, like when he's kicking it
Yeah,
and y'all physically kicked that
yeah,
was
yeah,
fly.
yeah.
But yeah, man. So moving on to Too Close, which was
Hmm.
y'all's first number one hit on not only R&B charts but on Hot 100. Like,
Yes,
and
sir.
for those who don't know, man, Hot 100 means everywhere. Like
Everywhere.
that's pop. So You guys put out Too Close, and I remember seeing that video and just like, man, like that song was everywhere. To this day, it still gets played everywhere. Walk me through the experience with Too Close.
Well, we'll start at the fruition of Too Close. Too Close was actually a song that was created by RL, myself, KG made the music, and he had some help with that. Darren Lighty, Cliff, and so we were on a phone call. It was like back in the day when you could do a phone call with uh, people on one call on two separate phones in the same house. And so RL and I were on the call with some females, and they were RL asked a question like, "How do you feel when you feel a guy get aroused on you on the dance floor?" And we were just wondering if they felt like it was disrespectful, and they said they did it on purpose, like they actually bump up against a guy to make him feel like that to see what it is. And I was like, what? Like we were both on a call, like get out. That was not the expected answer.
Right.
So after we finished the call, and then the next question was like, if it's not what you expect, is that a deal breaker? One female said no, the other female said no. Yes, of course, definitely, that's it. So we actually end the conversation, go downstairs. The beat is playing. KG he just cooked the beat up, and then we start writing right away. Jump on the mic. Song was written and recorded in 45 minutes. Um, Now skip forward to it being cleared for second single. Um, we wanted to put out Phone Sex. We wanted to put out Sexitude. Um, we had a bunch of other songs we wanted to do. I think Cyber Sex is on the album too. Like we were trying to like be sexy. And so Butta Love was setting it up. Then the next one was like, we really gonna be sexy because we were like, we came behind Jodeci. That's who we watched the most. Then Clive Davis goes now, and the label is like, we're gonna do Too Close. So we're thinking Too Close is like, that's a dance song. It doesn't really represent our sexuality and all that. It doesn't, that ain't gonna make them see who we really are. And they're like, no, we're going with it. So we had like 4 meetings arguing with the label that we didn't want to do it. Too Close comes out, bro. I swear we went from just ghetto fabulous to the Black Beatles overnight. It was like, boom. And in that moment, I learned that just because you like something or love something so much, it doesn't mean that's what the world wants. And
exactly.
Doesn't mean that that's what the world is going to fall in love with the most. And I remember when we first went number one, they flew us to Europe. It was 1998. We went to the UK for the first time for a tour. And we were number one the whole time we were over there. We came back, we were still number one. And the feeling of being top 40, number one in the world is something that you can only describe, but you cannot help anybody feel what that feels like.
Right.
I mean, it's like you go places that you used to go that was normal. Now you need an escort, you need security. No one wants to take your money. Your money's no good nowhere. You eat free everywhere, giving you free everything. It's just a whole different world to live in. So, I mean, the artists that you see that you love so much, like Beyonce, Drake, Nicki, Rihanna, like um, all these people, yay, all these people are out here living a life that you can't understand because people pay them to go places to be wherever. Like they just want them to be around. So they once you become super wealthy in a lot of situations, you don't even get to spend the money because people are so busy giving you things and welcoming you places and want to roll it out for you and show you the best time. And they just want you to say that you were there with them and take some pictures and basically have some proof. Um, Having a number one record is like living on a completely different planet, but it's some of the hardest work you'll ever do in your life because along with that, everybody wants you to show up and perform the song.
Right.
So, I mean, sleep becomes a distant cousin. You just like everywhere you go, you just performing, performing, performing. And for us, we were having so much fun. We weren't really thinking about it, but I guess I was so young, I didn't really know how to fully appreciate it until I took a step back and I wasn't on the road for a bit, and I just took a breath, and I was like, man, all that just happened. That's crazy. And to be in the position I'm in now, I can help so many people because I've experienced so many things. I've experienced highs, I've experienced lows before and after being a celebrity and after having success. So I can help people with a lot of different perspectives pertaining to life and having a great life experience because I can teach you how to flow with it and not fight against it.
Right, exactly. So, man, so that year with that album, because like you said, y'all had some like Taste So Good. That was a banger on there.
Oh,
I actually got that vinyl. I had got that a couple of years ago, but man, so
um,
tell us this, right? Now you are in the 90s R&B group at that time. In the 90s, that's when Jodeci, the sexiness was in there back then, for R&B male groups. So tell us about the women, man. Like the women at that time, you going show to show. I bet the pandemonium was crazy at the time. How were you able to like balance that and tell us your experience, especially after having a number one record and you're a 90s R&B group? Come on, man.
yeah. I mean, it was crazy. It was a lot of pandemonium for me. For most of my career, I've been in a relationship though. So I was
Mm,
in a relationship. I spent some of my time out of a relationship. So when I wasn't in a relationship, I had more of an artist experience. But I wasn't really feeling that. Just to be honest, it wasn't. I wasn't like, "Ooh, this is what I love," because I felt like, first of all, I've always been a germaphobe, so it's difficult for me to just like just lay down with everybody. Like I'm like, oh yeah, the way my life is set up, I can't really. Yeah. But
You're right.
it also taught me that everything that shines on the outside ain't the same on the inside. So I was able. I mean, I would honestly end up in certain situations like counseling females, like that was out just like I'll do whatever. I'm like, man, you have you seen yourself? Like you're tripping right now. Like you don't even need to do that. Like you could actually just, you know, you could actually just be yourself, and you get way more attention that way. And
Right.
but I ain't gonna say I didn't delve into it at times. So there were some times I did go crazy, and obviously I was a freaky man of the night. So when I was on it, and it was usually after a rough breakup. So then I would just go ballistic for a bit. But I mean, you put yourself in a situation where um, the attention that you're getting it matches where you are, your state of awareness. So I wasn't having a lot of self respect, so I wasn't attracting a lot of self respect at that time from the females, and I was attracting people who didn't have self respect for themselves. So we were just not respecting ourselves together, and you know what I mean, partying and turned up and it's whatever. So yeah, it got pretty wild at certain points, but I only visited those moments. I didn't. You think in a 25-year career, I would have way more stories than what I do have. But the stories I have are pretty extensive. But the I spent most of my time in a committed relationship and working on things. I had my son when we first came out. My eldest, his name is Rafe. Now he's actually a rapper, and he's coming out with a lot of fire stuff. But he was a baby at the time. I was on the road thinking about responsibilities and thinking about
Mhm.
man how I can build for him. And then every summer I would have him, so I would have him on the road with me for the whole summer. So when I had him on the road, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't smoking, I wasn't doing nothing. I was just being dad. So I really had my affairs in order at at that time. It wasn't until later in my life that things went awry for a bit. I was like, damn, what is happening with my life? We could touch on that later if you want in the conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely, man. But this is great conversation, great insight, man. Because a lot of times, especially us guys, we fall victim to it, fall victim to the
Yeah,
women. You know what I'm saying? And if you
yeah.
don't have your head on straight, there, like you said, it's diseases. Like you're a germaphobe. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
man.
it's diseases out here, and women could try to get you caught up. And you see every year somebody got to pay child support. Somebody, women are trying to write books about you, and all kind of stuff. So it's good that you kept your head out of the water and really was focused and stuff like that. And I know it was tempting though, what I'm saying,
That
with all
was
those women
God,
that you
man.
see. Yeah.
No, that was God. And I was like, I don't. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and paint myself like I was some saint. Like, no, I did. I've hung out with these. I've been in situations with females. I was a part of the young wild boy where we wanted to, share and you know what I mean. I've been there with it, but like I stated, um, comparative to what's expected, I mean, I was at like 7% out of 100. Like I barely really went as crazy as I could have gone. And I'm thankful because I feel like that was God just sparing me because I didn't know that, you know, looking back, and I know some people that have some stories that didn't match what you really want to experience from doing it too much, like overindulging and, like you said, connecting with the wrong energy, the wrong people, and that could cost you forever. I mean, one night could cost you your whole life, so it
Man,
ain't worth it. You know what I mean? And how long will it last? I mean, even if you out here, you got 2, 3 hours in you, still, is it worth the rest of your life? No. And
right.
got to look at it like building credit. You keep starting over. You got a bunch of random situations. You're not building any credit, and um, eventually that'll catch up with you. And every time you lay down with somebody, you're not just only swapping fluids and stuff like that with them. You swapping souls, energy, man. That
That's
that
true.
stay with you
Speak
forever,
on it.
bro.
Speak on it.
Forever,
Yeah.
ever, and everything and everybody that they've been into too. So you're transferring that energy, and that's something that people try to overlook, but the universe, your body, and life itself don't overlook it. So when you lay down with someone and you could literally pick up a bad spirit from somebody just exchanging energy. It doesn't have to always come in the form of a disease. It could just be like
Right.
bad negative energy, negative spirit, and that can haunt you for a while until you learn how to heal it. But yeah,
Hmm.
when you swap energies with people, that's forever. It's eternal. So be careful who you laying down with.
That's a great message coming from Brother Tweet right there, man. I be trying to say that, man. You got to be very careful. It's not just about it's a lot about energy. It's not just about diseases. It's about energy as well, vibes, all
100%.
that's important. So man, so Rated Next, that album goes double platinum, probably quadruple platinum by now, especially with streaming and everything now. Then you go into the next album, and the next album, what was that one called? I forgot.
Welcome to Ecstasy.
Welcome to Nexusy. So, wifey, come on, man. Wifey, y'all coined the term wifey, right? We weren't saying wifey before y'all came up with that song, right?
We definitely helped it make to be a household word and make it worldwide. Yeah,
So yeah, man, that song is another one that so it's songs like this. You got classics that last forever, right? Like for
yeah,
example, first of the month from Bone Thugs. Every month on the first,
100%.
you're gonna think about that. You know what I'm saying? Certain
Yeah,
songs gonna make you think about stuff, or like Jagged Edge, Let's Get Married, right?
yeah,
I remember when my dad had got remarried to my stepmother now, that's when that it was like 2000, 2001. That song was hot and they
yeah.
play that at the wedding. And you fast forward 20 plus years later, you still have couples who were probably kids during that time will
Uh
be
huh.
playing that record. Like,
Yep.
how does that feel to just say, man, like I got something that'll play when I'm not even here anymore, you know?
It's a blessing, man. That's like a happy birthday joint. Like it's it's eternal. And I know RL is even happier because he penned the record. It's something that he wrote with KG. He did the music, and yeah, that's it's a record synonymous to Next. It's known by Next, but it's definitely out of his mind, out of RL's mind, and KG. And so shout out to them for creating it because that's literally it's like a happy birthday. It's gonna be around forever, no matter what. I'm thankful to have been one of the writers of Too Close, which is also going to be around forever. And Too Close is still number 30 on Billboard's Hot 100 of all-time songs ever made. So,
Let
I mean, that's a
look,
huge blessing.
listen, I'm a DJ. I play Too Close all the damn time.
Thank you.
That and Wifey all the
Thank
time.
you.
Those are two
Thank you.
next records. And if I want to slow it down, I'm gonna play Butter Love. The women still get their panties wet to that, but I'm telling you, Too Close, that is a part of my brunch playlist and Wifey. Like those songs will never get old. So yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's just amazing. Especially when I see you all still touring and you still get the same type of reactions, because not only has your base grown with you, but you also have younger people. How does it feel to
Yeah.
look out in the crowd and see younger people that like your music now?
It's amazing. It's amazing that even through all this time, like, they always like to, not they, but some people like to separate old school from current to futuristic artists and stuff like that. But it's very, very, very fulfilling to look out in the audience and see young energy out there bopping, knowing every word, and going crazy. Just like, same thing we experienced back when we first delivered the records. It just shows you that this music is timeless, and we're just blessed to be a part of something really special. That's, I mean, not every artist get to say that. I mean, we 25 years been here professionally, almost 30, well, really like 20, almost 28, 27, 28 behind the scenes.
Yeah,
But professionally, 25 years, man, we've been out and to still be able to look out in the audience. I just got back from London. Like I told you, we were talking about the podcast before I left.
right.
Went out there, had a great time. Again, audience going crazy, knows every word. Great, great, great experience. And London's like my second home, so I got a lot of love, family out there, and huge fans. So yeah, love performing out there. It's no mistake that Michael Jackson would always record his stuff out that way. He would always record it overseas because the fandemonium is so different. It's like people they they relish in every part of what you do. They know
Mm.
all the words. They every dance step, like they just own you. And in America, we just so used to having so much. Like America is the home base for a lot of stuff that moves the world. So the audiences are different. It's not that they're bad. I mean, we have amazing audiences over here, but we celebrate you with drip. Like in America, if they really feeling it, like yeah, you get into it. That's what's up. And
Mm.
overseas, they're like, ah, it's a
I
whole different vibe. You
That's
know
what
what I
I've
mean?
noticed, man. They always encourage artists to travel overseas because they feel
Yeah.
like they're more appreciative, and it's just like your hometown. Your hometown always gonna look at you like that. They look at you as what you are, like what
Yeah.
they grew up to, accustomed to. You know what I'm saying? So when you come in, they be like, "Oh, he ain't nobody." So I guess that's how America
He
looks
just a
at it versus
carpenter.
overseas. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he's just a carpenter, bro. Like,
Right,
yeah, he ain't performing no miracles. He's just a carpenter.
right.
But but yeah, nah. No, it's actually though. I gotta keep it 100 billion. Like every time we go back to Minnesota, man, they show us so much love. We just performed in Hammond, Indiana. Also, it's like right near, like maybe 15, 10 minutes from Gary. So it was like performing at home too in Gary, Indiana.
Mm,
And I mean, everybody came out and represented. So I got to keep it 100 billion for our core fans where we're from. Like the group was formed in Minnesota, so Next is pretty much from Minnesota. The group and a lot of love and support that comes from out there when we perform. Man, they pack it out. I mean, we did a show and then after we got off stage because we weren't last at the show, we were like almost last, and everybody bounced after we finished. So it was no disrespect to the other artists on the show, but it just felt like, damn, that's respect. Y'all came out just to show us like as much love as possible. And
right.
anytime we perform here in Cali, like in LA, I mean, around the whole California, LA, San Diego, Sacramento, Oakland, San Francisco, like the whole West Coast come out. And when I'm not discounting any other city or state that we perform in, everybody show us love everywhere we go. I don't usually feel like we're not getting love. I feel like we get love everywhere we go. It's just different levels of how it feels. Like the way, that fans just let it go and just like give you all that energy they got. A
Mm.
lot of times LA, like the West Coast, Minnesota and when we performed in Hammond, like Indianapolis, Hammond, Gary area, it feels a lot like overseas. Like they give us
That's
a lot of
dope.
love.
That's
Yeah.
dope. And
Thank
then
y'all.
just to piggyback off of what we were talking about as far as the great music you all created, Diddy made a controversial comment, a statement. I think it was last month, may have been a
Yeah.
month before last, but he said that R&B is dead.
Uh-huh.
So I like to ask the R&B artists that I grew up listening to because we always refer back to the 90s as that golden era of R&B. Do
Yeah.
you feel that R&B is dead?
I first off, shout out to Diddy. Um, that's fam bam. Like we're all on the same umbrella. We're on Arista Records. Bad Boys on Arista. So been seeing Diddy my entire career, and I feel like Diddy has a right to express himself that way if that's how he feels. He put the music out, and the response was different because the R&B has changed. It's not dead. It's just changed. She looked different. she feels different. She is different. You know, she has a
Mm.
different swag to her. Like she got hip hop elements to her. You know what I mean? She got pop elements to her. She has reggaeton elements. Um she got Afrobeat. She got everything now because
Yeah.
it's, you know what I mean. So everything has kind of fused and changed. If you really think about it, no core music is just itself anymore. So there's isn't just pure. There's some pure country, but those aren't the ones that go number one. Kane Brown is going number one in country music. Look
Mm.
him up.
Mm.
So um, Taylor Swift, some of her stuff was considered country, but she popped, and then she also put a little drip on her music too. Look at Ed Sheeran. Like there's the lines are blurred. It's just music now. So in one sense of what he's saying, the way R&B used to be is he's right. That form is dead. That the form of exactly how that style used to be and how it resonated to audiences and how it was received. That could possibly be dead on a large scale. It's not dead as far as like we still listen to it. We do shows and we see the people still come out and they represent for it. But as far as like somebody putting out a song and it going number one and being that old school vibes, I mean, I don't know. We'd have to see if it's gonna swing back around. But as of right now, you know, the Chris Brown R&B is more likely to end up at number one versus, you know, an older R&B artist coming out with just straight, you know, old school R&B. And sure, the Four Tops and the Shy Lights and everybody else, you know, from back in the day, the Whispers and all them felt like when we came out, they're like, man, these boys and toe R&B up, like you know what I mean. So in
Yeah.
every era, you always gonna feel like the next era took what you had and turned it into something else. And either you're gonna love it or you're gonna sometimes not like it. But at the end of the day, everything has to evolve, man. Life is gonna consistently evolve, and you just gotta go with it, no matter whether you like the changes or not. This is a part of it.
Right, right. What I felt was I felt what he was saying, the essence, because he had made some clarity to it, like the essence of what we were accustomed to. One thing
Yeah,
that he pointed out that I agree with, there are no bridges in R&B songs like they used to be. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And not every single R&B artist was doing that back then, but a lot of it is kind of like it's like rap. Like it feels like R&B said, you know what, rap is winning right now. We're gonna do this. Like, and sometimes you'll have a great R&B song, and then they'll have a rap feature on it. And I'm like, nah, we don't need that. We need just the R&B essence of it, you know. So
yeah. You gotta change with the time though. People gotta understand like there's different rules to things. Like Spotify has an algorithm. Like if you put it on, there's an algorithm to how you make music on Spotify. And a song that starts out, I think, with a verse first, it doesn't calculate it properly with the algorithm. Like, so you got to start it with a hook. And songs are usually like 2:15 to 2:30 now. Like, there's like two
yeah,
verses. It's like a hook, a verse, a hook, a verse, and out of there. Like hook out of there. And sometimes it's a hook, a long verse, a long, long, long hook, and then some like scatting or whatever, then hook and out of there. So nowadays, most of the song is hook. You know what I mean? Whereas back in the day, there was an actual formula. It was like hook, this, like so. The formula is broken, and I think it's because it has to cater to the short-term attention,
mm,
the short-term attention span of everybody. Everybody, everything is instant right now. We're talking about back when you had to wait to call somebody
true.
if you call me and I'm on my call and I got somebody on call waiting, my phone is busy to you.
Right.
Nowadays, you can add 100 people to a call. It's no big deal. So
Mhm.
everything is instant. Like if you want food, instant. You go call DoorDash, Uber Eats, whoever. You get everything instant. Amazon. You don't even got to leave your crib no more. You can build.
Right.
If you want to do a podcast, you can go online, buy the whole everything to get the podcast. They'll deliver it to your door and deliver you food. You can go on YouTube, learn exactly how to do everything. You can be a doctor if you go on YouTube enough, and you just won't have to pay for it. But you can learn
Mm,
everything from the comfort of your home now, and that's just how it is. Attention span is this long. So even if you put out a video online and it's 2 or 3 minutes, that's too long. People will fast forward that. If you send a message to someone and it's too long, they're not reading it.
Yep.
So you can't make music that just disregards that because then people won't listen. So you have to shorten the music. Putting the bridge, you put the bridge on the song at the concert. Hit them with the
Mm.
part they know. You know what I mean? Do it live. Like you can still do what you want to do, but
Mm-hmm.
you still gotta like it's life is a conversation. It's a relationship with you and the audience. So you gotta cater to what they love and what they like too, along with what you want it to be. So maybe make the record short on your album, put it out, and then when you go live, throw that bridge on
Yeah, that's dope. Great info right there. Let's see, he put the cheat code out there for all the
them.
artists that are out there. That's dope. I like that. So let's talk about your acting, man. Because you were in Jacked Up. Now I don't know if you were in
Yeah.
some other films as well, but Jacked Up, man, you and Busy Bone and your brother. How did that movie come about?
Oh man. So jacked up. RIP to my brother Steve Smith, man. He was my manager, best manager I've ever known. One of my best friends. He's the godfather to my children. He was actually a manager for myself. He managed Sean for Boys to Men, DeAndre Whitfield, um, a few different guys he managed, but he worked with myself and Tilo, and because we met him when we were on the Boys to Men tour back when we that was like one of our biggest tours ever. Boys to Men, next Casey and JoJo, Destiny's Child, and Uncle Sam, and
Mm.
so yeah, it was him that got us connected with that movie, and we went out to Columbus, Ohio, and we shot it. It was cold. It was a great experience. It was my first time acting. Kind of, I think my last two. I just realized that, man, I admire actors because I it was one of those things that taught me that I like things a lot, but I'm not made to do everything I like. Some
Mm.
stuff I should just be okay with enjoying from the audience. Like I love basketball, but I can never play in the NBA. That's just
Yeah.
not. I can't disrespect NBA players and say like, man, I could just jump out there and do it. When I was younger, I used to think that way, but I didn't realize. I mean, you could do anything, but to be great at something,
Right.
the level of commitment that it takes to be great. And the reason why I say I can't do it is because I'm not going to do it if I can't put my best foot forward. And looking at what an NBA player does to be like a Steph Curry, to see how what he does to be that great, man, you got to just do what you love. And so the acting thing, it was dope. I had a good time. The movie was hilarious. I remember when my two elder sons saw the movie when they were kids. I don't know who let them see that movie, man. It traumatized my boys like that when they saw the scene where it got all bad for my character and like
Yeah.
they thought it was real. They had to explain to them. They had to call me like somebody just let them see jacked up and obviously my character got murked in the movie and so I had to tell my sons like, no, I'm good. I'm right here. It's just a movie. It was acting. They were that young when it happened. So
Yeah.
um, it was a good experience, but it definitely. I actually moved to LA 21 years ago to be an actor, and I learned real fast that that's that's not. I need to stop. I need to stay away from that and let the people who do it quite well let them do it and just keep loving watching movies.
Yeah, but it was a dope movie, man. I like the storyline in it. It had its a
It was
lot of
cool.
funny moments and stuff like that. But I just thought it was dope, and I was just like, "What? They got Bone and Next." I was like, "Where's RL?" And everybody. But it was dope. It was a pretty dope movie, man. Like
Alexis Fields is in it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Ron
uh,
Rico.
yeah. Y'all had so many because and the guy what because he starred in it. What's his name? Who from Sister Sister? What was his name?
Oh, Ron Rico Lee. Yeah, that's
Oh
the
yeah,
boy,
oh
Ron
yeah,
Rico.
Rodrigo. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
y'all had quite a good roster on there, man. So it was dope. Um, but yeah, man. So that movie comes out, and then you released your last next album. Now after that, what was the reason that you took a break from the group?
Man, good question. That was during the times when my spiritual awakening started to take place. I started to
Mm,
wake up, and a lot of people talk about being awake, but I started to my spiritual energy started to take over my life and call me to a higher standard, call me to um, dealing with some of the stuff I hadn't dealt with from my childhood, and deal with anger issues and having tempers and commitment issues. And it was something I really needed to step away from music and the public eye for a bit and handle it. And I was having a lot of turmoil in my relationships and stuff like that because I was just having an internal struggle. So it was that's what took me away from it, just working on myself at a high level and really like delving into you know whatever challenges or issues I had and really committing to fixing them and changing them. And it took some years, man. Like a long time, bro. I got out. I think I started like 2003, and I there's no graduation, so you're constantly evolving. But I am at a place right now where I've learned enough, and I remember enough, and I've healed enough on my own to be able to help other people heal. And that's why a lot of the stuff that I post online, the work that I do with my clients when I do my conferences and do motivational speaking and different things like that. That's why it's so at the top of my heart because I felt like I climbed an ice covered mountain to get to the top of mine. I'm trying to help send anybody that find value in what I'm offering the elevator.
That's dope. Yeah, man. And because a lot of us go through stuff, man, but a lot of people don't realize that even if you are a celebrity, because they look at you like, they got this perfect life, but they don't understand the hardships that you go through, and they don't understand, being on the road and dealing with other stuff while having to please millions of people. Because you were just a regular kid from Minnesota, now you're this celebrity, and then you have all this other stuff going on. It's hard to balance that. So some people can't
True,
understand
yeah.
how you would just take a break from it, but it's great that you're able to share that story and let people know about the hardships, because we all need
Yeah.
it. We all need to be enlightened by that.
Yeah, man. And it wasn't all, you know, it wasn't Mayberry with the group either. We had disagreements. We had disagreements. We had internal energy because we all grew up tough, And
Mm.
I mean, I lived with Tilo since obviously from Unsung. I lived with Tilo since I was 12 years old. He's 15. We were little kids out in the world. We done our share. Like half our family was all church. Our grandfather was a minister. Went to church all the time. And then the other part of our family was the gang. And so I actively experienced both sides, and I mean full on engaged in both. When I was in it, I was in it, and so we had turmoil in the group quite a bit too. And I can only take responsibility for the turmoil that I brought to the group, and my turmoil was a reflection of the turmoil that I was experiencing on the inside. I had a lot going on, bro, and it was from things that I experienced, but it was also experiences that I offered to other people that I was struggling to deal with, and I had to face it all and realize that you can't let the past keep stealing from you because you can't change it. You know what I mean? You just have to accept it, and if you learn from it, don't repeat it. And move on and do what you can to help someone else avoid it or heal from it. But things happen. Everything happens for a great reason, and that every time I separated from the group, I got better, I got stronger, and I did what I had to do to continue to grow as a person.
Right. And so at the end, I remember watching the end of Unsung, and you all were at a disarray. Y'all weren't messing with each other. I mean, you and your
Yeah.
brother were good, but RL was doing his solo thing. So, but then I can't remember the time after that, but I remember seeing you all back on the road. How did you guys settle your differences and get over that hump to where y'all been touring consistently? It's y'all tour overseas, tour everywhere. I got to catch one of y'all shows, but how did y'all get past whatever transpired after Unsung?
Um. uh. I'd like to say that we just started focusing on the fact that the blessing is bigger than all of us. Is definitely something that is going to be here with or without us. There's a time when none of us was really working on the road together as a group, and the music was still there. Like you said, you were playing it, other people were playing it. I still get the residual checks that show when the music is playing and where, and every month it's not slowing down. So with or without us, the music is there. we were able to deal with a lot of the stuff, but then at the same time, there were some things that weren't dealt with that we just ignored and just kept working. And then some of those things kind of like show back up. So we just recently, my shows in the UK, those were my last actual touring next shows. We were like we separated. I'm doing my thing solo full time now. I'm also doing my life coaching career, motivational speaking, and my healing career full time. But I feel like right now more than ever, um, the world could use it and need it. I feel like I can offer a lot of value to a lot of people. It doesn't matter where people are from, where they're at. I feel like I can help anybody with anything because I've had enough experiences to be able to relate fully. A lot of, like you said, people think, "Oh man, you're an artist. You've never gone through anything." I'm like, bro, imagine going through your worst moments on a world stage. Imagine
Yeah.
going through it where TMZ is picking up your stories and promoting it, and it's not even the whole story. So um, that's where people aspire to be a celebrity until moments like that come, and then you're like, damn, because you can't you can't control how everybody feel about you, like what they believe or don't believe. But one thing it taught me to strengthen my I don't give a damn muscles. Like I only care about the right stuff because I couldn't be perfect enough to make everybody like me, and I couldn't change everybody's opinion once they saw some of the stuff that was written about me. And one thing I would say about the stuff that was written about me, a lot of it wasn't true. Um, and the stuff that wasn't true, I had to ask myself, like, why would something like this be printed about me? What is my life trying to tell me?
Mm.
And my life was trying to tell me to calm down, stop being so reactive, don't be a puppet, don't allow yourself to be in a position where someone knows that if I do this, you're gonna do this. You know, be in the moment, be present, realize that someone try to offer you negative energy, it has to live in them first for them to share it with you, so you don't have to join in. Some moments in life is like baseball. You gotta let some of that shit hit the glove. You can't
Yeah.
swing at everything. So you don't need to see everything. You don't need to respond to everything. And it taught me to be stronger. It taught me to really actually take care of the stuff that I needed to take care of with myself because it wasn't all wrong. I did have a fiery temper. When it came to females, I thought because I wasn't fighting them, I could say whatever I wanted because I was like, I'm not gonna beat you up. I'm gonna just talk crap. Yeah, no, yeah, learning and anger management and domestic violence classes taught me that that's just as bad. If
Mm.
not worse, because people have gotten in situations like boxers box all the time and they heal up. But some stuff that you say to people, it can last forever and do lasting damage. And I learned a lot, and on many occasions I've come out and apologized to anybody that I came across that I left a negative experience with them during my course of my evolution and my growth. But I do appreciate them for being a part of my story because without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm thankful that I've learned. I'm thankful that I get to share now, and I'm thankful that um, nobody was um, hurt like they say in the movies. No one was destroyed or hurt beyond repair in the
Mm.
situation. So I'm thankful that I was able to at least grow past those situations.
Definitely, man. And I'm proud of you, man. Being able to I like when people
Appreciate
when
you.
people go through stuff, they're able to speak about it, right?
Yeah,
You were just saying, I can ask you anything, you're an open book. And I think that,
absolutely.
that's commendable because a lot of artists, especially these days, with social media and stuff, I feel like just not even artists, but just people in general, we all live in a lie. Putting stuff out there for images to what we want people to see instead of saying, hey, if I come out and say what's really going on, not saying everybody has to be in my business, but what I've went through that could help somebody else.
Yeah,
So I think that's very commendable to do that and everything that you're doing right now, especially with your podcast and motivational speaking, because man, our people need that for sure.
I got it all day for us. I got it, man. I walked through the fire, came out, no burn marks, with an open heart, man, ready to share as much as possible. And I appreciate you saying what you just said. I know that getting blessed with the career was a part of this as well, to be able to be a beacon of light, hope, and to impart wisdom on people and help them overcome their challenges like I have. Only difference is I had to deal with mine by myself. I The reason why I'm so motivated to be here for people, because I wish I had somebody that showed up for me like that, you know. And what I had to learn is a lot of people are going through what I went through. So there won't be anybody that'll show up. They got to show up for themselves. And another thing I learned is no matter how much someone showed up for me or I wanted them to or whatever, I had to learn this on my own. I had to get it on my own. You can have all the knowledge you need. You can have all the weapons, the utensils, everything. And it's not until you make a decision to make it important enough to yourself to be happy that happiness is going to be attainable. And everything that you want and need is already right there. It lives inside of you. And that's why I teach meditation, because I teach people that meditation have and continues to save my life, bro. I've been the most relaxed, calm, focused, and clear about everything in my life since I started meditating on a regular basis. I was doing it off and on since like 2008 or 7 or 8. No, yeah, like 2007. And then since 2012, it's just really been like law, like religion. And my wife and I, every morning when we wake up, before we even get out of bed, minimum of 15-minute meditation just to set your day right, you know, set the trajectory of your day and make it flow properly for you. And I can tell the difference between, there's been very few days that I haven't meditated since 2012, and the days that I hadn't, oh man, completely different experience. And so I got to the point where I'm like, damn, I don't even know how I survived without meditating. Now that I do on a regular basis. So um, I talk to people about it all the time, and they're like, "Man, I try to meditate, but I can't quiet my mind. It's tough. I feel like I'm just sitting there thinking the whole time, and that's a form of it. But I can work with anybody. I can help anybody learn how to meditate, because I was like one of the most hyper people in the world, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. And just got to make a commitment to. And in life, everything needs a purpose and needs a reason. Every person is one right reason away from doing anything that they need to do. You know, so when people judge other people, it's not fair, because with the right reason, you can do anything that you ever wanted to accomplish. And so my reason for meditating had to be, I was like, damn, I was sitting trying to meditate one day, and I was thinking, man, this is tough. I need to quit. And then a thought came in my head. It was like, you can't give God no other gift but your attention,
Right.
focused awareness, and your attention. And like when you sleep, you're unconscious. So that's your subconscious mind giving attention. And you don't even know how to control that. So when you're awake, if you could be doing anything with your time, you can give God at least 15 minutes of your time a day. That's the least you could do for all the blessings and mercy and pardon you get, and miracles and everything that you receive on a daily basis. Um, God deserves at least 15 minutes of your focused, silent time while you're awake. Just sit still and be quiet. And that's why it says in the Bible, be still and know that I'm God. Um, and what I do and what I teach is not religious at all. No disrespect to religion. My granddad was a preacher, so I grew up in church my whole time. But I found my best relationship with God when I went inside myself. So being in the position I'm in life right now, I realize that you're not going to church to find God. You go to church to celebrate God. You know, religion is supposed to be a place of celebration. And when I was a kid, we were taught to pray like most of us. But when you're praying, you're talking to God. That's your side of the story. And when you want to hear from God, you meditate. You be quiet so you can receive, because God speaks in silence, and then followed by action. So um, I learned, if you want to receive those gifts, like everybody's praying to God, God, give me this, give me that. Well, if you don't ever be quiet, sit still, and receive it, that's why it feels like it keeps escaping you. So you got to learn how to add some meditation to your life so you can get that blessing and get that life that you really know you deserve.
That's powerful, man. Like literally, it made me, because I've been hearing about meditation and how much it helps and stuff like that. And like just you sharing that with me right now hit me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just the way you broke that down. So I'm like I said, I'm proud that you're able to do this. And I know if you touched me, you're about to touch millions of people, you know, with your motivational speaking and everything that you're doing now. So, and then you're about to launch the podcast, because your podcast, give them again what the podcast is called and when it's coming out. It's dropping tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yeah, 4:44 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll drop my podcast. It's titled "The Best Life Ever Team Podcast," and it's going to be amazing, man. It's not. I call it the Best Life Ever Team Podcast, but I also say it's not your ordinary podcast. This podcast is open dialogue between myself and my audience, and I'm doing this for us. You know, I'm sharing every secret. I'm sharing every experience, anything that I've gone through, anything that I've learned, and I'm also taking suggestions from my audience of things that they want to talk about, so I can bring it to light, so I can help people through whatever they're going through. Sometimes people don't want to come on live and talk about everything. Sometimes people want to be right at home discreetly and learn about things and be able to add things to their toolbox. So the Best Life Ever Team podcast is a podcast that you can come to, and every single time you're gonna learn something. It's gonna you'll leave with something added to your life, guaranteed, every single time.
Man, Tweet, that's amazing, man. Just getting the insight so much as far as your career and where you're at now, the level that you've reached. Like I said, it's commendable, my brother. And I
Appreciate you.
thank you so much for coming on here, man. And like I said, we're gonna collab for sure, because I want to be a part of
Absolutely.
your podcast, the journey, and everything like that. Where can people follow you?
You can follow me at Tweet from Next on most social media, Twitter, Instagram. I don't really have TikTok. I do, but it ain't really. I don't know. But
Yeah,
then I have at Tweet is PRS, and PRS stands for Prince Raphael Shawan, and I'm Prince because God is King and very much alive. That's what's on my hat,
absolutely.
my shirt.
I see it. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fly. That's fly, man. Yeah, man. And everybody, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/ResView, where you can get some of the best interviews. We got some of the best interviews out right now. But Tweet, thank you so much again for joining me today on ResView. It has been an honor. Like I said, I play your music all the time, so it's just great to actually sit down and chop it up with you in front of everybody, man. So
appreciate you, my brother.
absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Like again, everybody subscribe to youtube.com/ResView. Also follow me on all social media platforms at JAYR3D. Yeah, man. This is J Red. Tweet ResView. We signing out.
You gon'
Bam.
be on. Don't give up, give up.